yesterday's session?
SQL injection.
SQL injection. Okay. So did we study SQL injection? Had we completed studying that, or like how much had we
No,
done there?
we don't complete.
No.
We just started SQL injection.
Okay. So everyone is familiar with the SQL basics, at least the select clause and where clause by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good. We hadn't covered a lot of stuff in SQL injection, right? And had we seen how to get the usernames and details of the users from the table?
No.
No, right? Okay. So for the security level, I need to change this to low first, and then okay, yeah, I'll reach the medium level in a different session. Excuse me. So now, before we start with SQL injection, let's just take a look at what the intended functionality here is. So if I enter a user ID, let's say I enter the ID 1, it's just going to show me the ID along with the first name and the last name of the user associated with this ID. Similarly, for 2, 3, 4, whatever you enter, you will get the associated user, their full name. That is the data you're going to get here. And if I enter, let's say 7, okay, so for 7 we get nothing. That means there are less than 7 people. 6 also nothing. So that means there are just 5 entries. Okay, that's not important here. Just we know now that there are 5 entries. Now, when we discussed select queries yesterday in SQL, so here also something similar is happening in the background. Now we don't see it here anywhere, but in the background there is an SQL query running, which would probably be something like select first name, last name from the whatever the table name for the users table is. Select first name, last name from that table where ID is equal to, and then whatever ID we specify here. So it would probably be something like this. Select F name, L name. Now this is, I'm not sure about the names of the columns. I'm just taking a guess that these could be potential values. And it doesn't matter, column names are something we'll find out later. From whatever the user table name is, where ID is equal to, and single quote, and pause, there's a semicolon at the end. Now whatever value I specify, whatever ID value I specify goes here between these single quotes. So if I specify 2, so I'll get these results. It will show me the first name and last name. If I specify 3, 4, whatever I specify, this is going to be here. But now let's come to exploiting an SQL injection vulnerability. First, we need to check whether vulnerability exists or not, whether the table might be, whether the database might be vulnerable or not. The way we do that is by simply inserting a single quote. Why that is? Because see, if I insert a single quote here, then this query will break. Okay, it will get confused. The you know the database will get confused as to what is happening, and it will give you an error. Let's see whether that happens or not, whether the SQL query breaks or not. Okay, so it does break, and it's telling us you have an error in your SQL syntax. Now this gives us an indication that this might be vulnerable to SQL injection. Okay, this is not guarantee that you will be able to exploit it or extract any data, but this is the first step whenever we check for this kind of thing. So now we know, and we can continue further. So in the where clause, like I mentioned, there is a condition which matches the ID that you specify with the ID correspondingly present in the database. Now we can manipulate that. We can make changes to that query in order to get some different data than the intended functionality of this page. So let's see how that is going to happen. So if I give ID 1 and I add one or 1 is equal to 1. Now understand why this is happening. 1 is equal to 1 because in the where clause there is a condition id where that select first name last name where ID is equal to 1 in this case, or whatever other ID you specify. But the thing is, we want to write a condition that will always be true, so that for every row it will match and give us the result. So in the where clause we specify an or and the second condition where we say that 1 is equal to 1. Now any number will always be equal to itself, so 1 is equal to 1 is always going to be true. And this or part, the or that we have specified, this ensures that even if this ID condition is not true, then this 1 is equal to 1 condition will be true always, so we'll get the data that we require. So if I do this, let's see what I get. I get all the data for all the users, all the data that is specified in these two columns, sorry, first name and last name. So I get data for all users here. So this is the most basic kind of SQL injection that you'll see, that simply you give it a value, or even if you don't specify anything, just end it with a single quote and say or 1 is equal to 1, or you can also use 2 is equal to 2, because it's basically the same thing. You want it to be a true statement, and 2 is equal to 2 will always be true. And if you notice, I'm only using one single quote here, and at the end I'm not using any. Can anyone tell me why that is? No. Okay, see, like I mentioned earlier, in that query, select and the whole query, I'm not writing it out, I'm just typing this dot dot dot. In the where clause, so it says where id is equal to and this single quotes, two single quotes. Whatever value you enter is kept between these quotes. So in order to make the syntax correct, I see whatever I enter is going to be entered within this single quotes only, within this much space. I mean, it could be longer. So whatever I enter is going to be between these. So I use the first single quote in the query to close out this one, and then I use two more to close this two. And when I write this second value, I don't use a single quote at the end because one is already present here. So that's why we are writing this in this fashion. So is everyone following what we are doing here? Are you able to understand why we are going this way?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Now this is just one way to perform SQL injection. There are other things, there are other concepts involved as well. So let's go over those two. Now using this one is equal to one thing, we are able to extract data for all users. Okay, that is something that we have done. But we want to get even more data. Okay, we are only currently see all the data we have is the first name and the surname. But we want to find out even more things about the database and about users from this table. So before I move on to that, there is another concept in SQL that I would like to talk about. That is union. Now union is a functionality in SQL. Let me just share that web page here as well, so we'll be able to discuss it better. So in SQL, there is a union operator and it combines the results of two or more select statements. So see the syntax here, select column, particular columns from table 1, union, select whatever columns you want from table 2. Now the condition is that each select statement must have the same number of columns. So if there are two columns here, then there should be two columns here as well. If that is not the case, then it is not going to run. It's going to give you an error. What it does is different, it combines the results of two different select statements. And the columns must have similar data types. That is also something to keep in mind. So for example, you cannot use a union if two columns here are integers but these others are strings. So that cannot be done. Now this is a sample database that they have taken. They've done select city from customers, union select city from suppliers. So all the cities in both the tables will be shown as one column. Since there is only one column here, so the result is also going to be one column. And order by city, order by is used to sort. This order by clause is used to tell SQL that I want to sort my results by this particular column. Now, by default, it will sort it in ascending order. But if you want descending order, you can specify DESC. So run SQL and let's see the answer. So It has run union on both select statements and given us a total number of results. So these are the cities present in both tables. And by default, union is only going to give you unique results. So if one city is present in both tables, if one particular row is present in both tables, it is only going to list that once. And order by city, so these results have been sorted by the city column in ascending order. So you can see that it's starting from A, B, and it's following the alphabetical order because we mentioned order by. Let's see if you remove this. Still sorting. It's anyway, that's not important here. What's important is understanding how union is working. So again, there's the same thing that is happening here, but just we're using union along with a where clause. So again, this is then the union, but only where the country is Germany. Let's try. Let's see what we can do with union. Let's take a look at that. Now, when it comes to this scale, it would be helpful to us if you could find out what SQL version is being used. Okay, so now that information is stored in a parameter known as @version, double @version. I can directly run, select double @version. The actually the query for that would be select, but I can't just run this because I can't directly type SQL queries here. I need to find ways to insert them into the existing query. So again, what we are going to do is, let's say one, or I can simply leave this empty, just single quote, union select, let's try version, and after this I'll use this octathor to comment out everything in the SQL statement that's after this. But you see, now we are getting an error that the use select statements have a different number of columns. So this statement, it has probably two columns, but we have specified only one value. So let's change that. Now I can specify one comma @@ version. So the first column, you'll see the one appearing, and the second one will have the database version. Now depending on the database version, you can figure out the underlying technology, and this will also give you information that you can use to try and figure out vulnerabilities in this through Metasploit or Exploit DB. Now, just like this version, there's other things as well that can be union select one @ host name. Okay. So host name is Parrot in our case, because of course I'm doing this on my own device. My SQL server is running on my same device as this one. It's like it's running on this machine itself. So this is the host name that I'm getting. And now I could also use this to find out the name of the underlying database. Let's select. Okay. So with database, I'll probably have to use a different way. Just go like this. Need to use this database with parentheses. And now we have the answer. So the name of the database is simply DBWA in our case. So we have retrieved that through SQL injection as well. Now I'm not including anything before the first not semicolon, before this first single quote, but I can do that if I want to. I can include a value here. I'm just not doing that so that we get only one results and we don't have to look for other ones. If I were to specify one union select, then this would just give us an additional result, which is not what we are looking for. We're just looking for this. Now let's try to figure out even more information. So we know our database version, and it stores the names of tables in something known as information schema. So let's use that here. And you understand the meaning of this octothorpe. This is used to comment out the rest of the statement which is present in the source code. Now union select one is fine. Remove this first one. Now talked about getting the table name, so let's do that. Table underscore name, and this is in information schema dot tables. Submit. And we get the names of all the different tables present in our database. All the different tables present. And the last two are users and guest book. Now guest book is that, that stored cross-site scripting data, that is guest book. And users is the users table, which contains user ID, password and stuff. हाँ हेलो, बोलो राहुल।
कितना करवा दिया?
अभी एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन चल रहा है।
पूछ रहा हूँ। नहीं, उसमें कितना करवा दिया?
So we are seeing this. union select one table name from information schema dot tables, and this is a list of different tables in the database. So the ones that would be more useful to us would be this users, because this contains all the data related to different users. So it may also be containing passwords, which we can then use to get access to their accounts. So we are going to target this user database. Now let's try this. One, and now we want to look for columns within this table. So column name, from information schema dot columns, where table name is equal to users, and an octafop after that to comment the rest of the stuff out. Now let's submit this, see what we get. So okay, here we can see that we are getting names of different columns within this users table. So there's a column for user ID, first name, last name, user. So this is probably the username, password, avatar, last login, failed login. So these are the different columns within this users table. Now let's try getting the different passwords by using an SQL query. So can anyone tell me what query I can use here?
क्या सर?
ये जो हमने अभी देख रहे हैं रिजल्ट, इसमें हमें मिल रहा है कि यूजर्स जो टेबल है उसके क्या क्या कॉलम्स हैं. तो फर्स्ट नेम, लास्ट नेम, यूजर आईडी, यूजर नेम, पासवर्ड, ये सारे अलग अलग कॉलम्स हैं यहाँ पे. तो मैं ये पूछ रहा हूँ कि मैं यहाँ ऐसी क्या क्वेरी लिखूँ कि मेरे को पासवर्ड और यूजर नेम मिल जाए जितने भी यूजर हैं सबका.
यूजर और पासवर्ड को ही स्पेसिफाई कीजिए.
अच्छा देखो, क्वेरी बताओ क्या लिखूँ यहाँ पे, इसके बाद और क्या डालूँ मैं?
सिलेक्ट
सिलेक्ट डायरेक्टली
कोट आएगा ना, सिंगल कोट.
सिंगल कोड तो डाल दिया, उसके बाद क्या आएगा?
सेमीकोलन सिलेक्ट स्टार नहीं आएगा, उसमें आएगा यूजर नेम और पासवर्ड.
सिलेक्ट स्टार और सिलेक्ट स्टार के बाद क्या करूं?
उसमें मेंशन करना पड़ेगा इसे.
क्या मेंशन करना पड़ेगा? पूरी क्वेरी बताओ यार, क्या लिखूं मैं, और ये भी बताओ कि क्वेरी कर क्या रही है. सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम यूजर्स लिख दूं सीधा? सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम यूजर्स अगर मैं लिख भी दूं तो दिक्कत ये है कि ये यहाँ चलता नहीं है. चल सकता है, नहीं चल सकता, मतलब गारंटी नहीं है कि हर डेटाबेस में तुम इस तरह से कमांड चेनिंग कर पाओगे. तो यहाँ ये एरर दे देता है. तो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि इस तरह की कमांड चेनिंग हर जगह चले। अभी हर उसमें एरर दे रहा है। तो ये चीज़ यहाँ नहीं चलेगी। फिर भी एक तरीका तो है हमारे पास यूजर नेम्स पासवर्ड लेने का। देखो मैं बताऊँ, यहाँ पे किया यूनियन, सिलेक्ट यूजर पासवर्ड फ्रॉम, टेबल का नाम भी हमें पता है यूजर्स, इसी को रन करके देखते हैं। तो यहाँ पे हमें यूजर आईडीज, यूजर नेम्स, सॉरी आईडीज नहीं, यूजर नेम्स और पासवर्ड की जो वैल्यू है वो मिल गई। सो यूजर नेम्स एंड पासवर्ड वी हैव extracted using this. Now this is the username, let's say for example for the admin. This is not exactly the password, this is the password hash. Similarly for the other users as well, these are not directly the passwords but they are the password hashes. So let's see what we can do with these hashes. So let's say if I copy this one for Pablo, use hash identifier, paste the hash here. Let's see what it says. It says the possible hashes are MD5. So let's just go with MD5. Let's see whether we can find out the value corresponding to this hash. Okay, so it has found the corresponding password for this. Basically, websites like these, they keep rainbow tables. So when you enter any hash, they can quickly correlate that with the corresponding word, with the corresponding value. So in this case, the value is let me in. So let's try logging in with that. Log out. The account was Pablo. The password was let me in. So we are able to log in, and if I go to any of these pages, okay, I can see that I have logged in as Pablo now. So this we've seen how to use SQL injection, and we're able to extract passwords using this. Now let's go to medium security and try there. And now you can see that the input field has disappeared. There is no input field in this case. So what to do now?
So एड्रेस बार में टाइप करेंगे ना कमांड,
इसमें
पहले
एड्रेस
बार
बार
चेक
जो ऊपर लिखा हुआ है ना एड्रेस, यहाँ पे कमांड लिखेंगे ना जिसमें यूआरएल वगैरह आता है,
यूआरएल में
यहाँ लिखेंगे
अच्छा
पे लिखेंगे ना वो कमांड्स वगैरह जो एसक्यूएल की।
अच्छा देखते हैं पहले तो। अगर मैं यहाँ पे कोई यूजर आईडी सिलेक्ट कर रहा हूँ, आई एम सिलेक्टिंग अ यूजर आईडी, लेट्स सी व्हाट हैपेंस. Okay, so I get the result, but there is no change in the URL. So I don't think adding a command in the URL is going to make any difference, because the URL does not change at all in this case, and depending on whatever user ID you have, this is not changing. So what other method we use What other method can we try to insert our injection payloads?
SQL map.
SQL map is an automated tool for injection. Right now I'm talking about doing this manually. See, SQL map can do all of that stuff for you. You don't have to do any of what we just did. But we are trying to do it manually.
URL में सिंगल कोट लगा के देखेंगे, पिछली बार देखे थे वैसे।
URL में
हाँ,
कहाँ पे, लेकिन URL में तो कोई वो पैरामीटर है ही नहीं ना।
हाँ,
देखो, verb suit we can use here and we can intercept our requests change using verb suit. You could do that in the URL if there were any parameters present here, but there are no parameters since this is using post and not get. Go to proxy interceptors on. Tell the browser to use Brook. Now let's see what we get in the request. So see, this is a post request, so nothing will be present in the URL except for the address, and the value for ID is here 1. Let's try making changes to this itself. Do 1 or 1 is equal to 1. Now there is a tool in Burp Suite known as repeater. So I'm going to right click here, send to repeater. Now with repeater, the benefit is, let's say I want, let's say I'm having difficulties with this. So I'm trying multiple payloads to see what works. So in that case, I won't have to intercept the request every time. I can simply use repeater to send the request multiple times. So, okay, I'll take a look at that in just a moment. For now, let's just try forwarding this, see what happens. We forwarded it and we've gotten our data. Turn intercept off. And now coming back to repeater, the thing with repeater is that you can send the request as many times as you want, and but the only thing is you'll see the response here and not in browser. So if I send this as it is, I'll see the response. If I scroll down, this is the data for all the different accounts, the first name and last name for the accounts. So this is going to show you the response in HTML format. Now it can try to render, but in this case it's not able to render it. try our other stuff. Okay, now we are getting an error. So you can see you can simply make as many changes as you want here and send your request, and it is going to give you the result. So again, we are able to run it and we are getting the database version here. Similarly, you'll be able to run the other queries that we have seen as well. Just you'll need to use Burp Suite for this rather than directly doing it through the browser itself. And for this, for trial and error, you can make use of the repeater tool. So you just send, make whatever changes you want here, keep sending the requests and seeing the results for that. So that is what you need to keep in mind. Okay, now everyone is following along so far. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. Yeah. Okay.
No. No, sir. No question.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on then. Coming back to the browser. Is the intercept on? No, it's not. Okay. Okay, now it's saying click here to change your ID. That's simply opening up here in a different page. Let's see what this is. One. What if we do this now? If I submit this, this is not directly going to work. Let me try doing this, adding an octathorpe here so it comments out the rest of the statement. Even that is not working in this case. This does not actually make any difference. 2 is equal to 2 or 1 is equal to 1, whatever you want to run. That does not make a difference to how this works. Okay, see what happens. Okay, so this works. Sometimes you just need to try, fidgeting around with these things and they work. So in this case, we're simply using another input, but there is actually a difference as to what is happening behind the scenes. And I'll show you that when I look at the source code. So let's try running other stuff similarly. So again, we are able to use this and get the data for all the number of tables within the database. And it's very important to pay attention that at the end we are using an octathor so that it comments out the rest of the query after what we are inserting. So let me show you what I mean. I go to view source. So this is the query. Select first name, last name from users where user ID is equal to. This is where our input goes. We need to comment out the rest of this stuff. That's why we are using the octathor, because we need to comment the rest of the query out so that it does not take this into consideration. Otherwise, it will give you an error. And here they have added limit 1. Now that limit 1, what it does is it limits your result to just one entry. That's why it's very important to comment it out using this octathor. So just keep that in mind and you're able to exploit this as well. So this is your basic SQL injection done in DBWA. Any questions here? There is also blind SQL injection, which we'll see next. Before that, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
हेलो
Hmm.
हेलो सर, किसी अदर साइट को करके देखो ना, इंजेक्शन के थ्रू निकाल के पासवर्ड।
क्या चीज?
कोई और वेबसाइट नहीं होती जो कर सके हम? पाकिस्तानी वेबसाइट होती।
आपकी आवाज मेरे को बहुत कम आ रही है, पता ही नहीं चल रहा क्या कर रहे हो।
तो हेलो, कम आ रही है। मैं कह रहा हूँ कोई और वेबसाइट नहीं है क्या जो जिसको कर सके एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन के थ्रू?
एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन यार, अभी तो हम पढ़ रहे हैं ना एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, तो उसके लिए तो प्रैक्टिस वेबसाइट DBWA यूज करेंगे। कोई और वेबसाइट आपको परमिशन थोड़ी ना देगी ये करने की। एक और वेबसाइट है, वहाँ थोड़ा बहुत ट्राई करके मैं आपको दिखा सकता हूँ। पहले ये तो कवर हो गया पूरा, ये भी ब्लाइंड एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन बचा है, पहले वो देखना है क्या होता है। नॉर्मली लेकिन ऐसे किसी भी वेबसाइट पे मत ट्राई करना, क्योंकि वो फिर प्रॉब्लम में पड़ सकते हो। किसी भी रैंडम वेबसाइट में अगर ट्राई करने की कोशिश करोगे, क्योंकि हमें बाय डिफॉल्ट तो किसी साइट पे करने की परमिशन नहीं होती, इसलिए तो हम DBWA यूज करते हैं सब प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए। Okay, now when we talk about blind SQL injection, it's called blind because it doesn't explicitly show errors or anything. Now, if I enter an ID, let's say, just like, try the normal functionality, enter user ID 3, submit, exists in the database, user ID 6, it's missing from the database. If I enter this single code that I check, that I used to check for SQL injection, it will say that the user ID is missing from the database. It's not going to give me an error. It's not going to explicitly show any error messages. It is just going to give me a result in either one of the two forms. Either it will tell me that the user ID is present or the user ID is missing. Now in blind SQL injection, this kind of a situation is called as a Boolean based SQL injection, where you send a query, the server returns a response, and that response could be either true or false. So in this case, user ID exists stands for true, user ID is missing stands for false. You in blind SQL injection, you not see results in the same way as you do in normal SQL injection. So keep that in mind. And blind SQL injection is a little more difficult to exploit.
सर एक बार और बताना जरा।
Blind SQL
Hello?
injection.
हेलो
हाँ बोलो बोलो।
हाँ सर एक बार और बताना जरा क्या बताया था मैंने सुना नहीं सर एक बार और बताना।
सुनो ना सर, देखो ब्लाइंड एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन में क्या है कि नॉर्मली जो नॉर्मल एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन में जिस तरह से होता है कि हमें एरर्स वगैरह सब दिखते हैं हमारे रिजल्ट्स में, यहाँ ब्लाइंड एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन के केस में ऐसा नहीं होगा। आपको एरर्स वगैरह कुछ नहीं दिखेंगे, पर आपको जो भी रिस्पॉन्स मिल रहा है सर्वर से वो ट्रू या फॉल्स के उसमें आप उसको देख सकते हो। जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे यूजर आईडी दिया 2, तो यूजर आईडी एग्जिस्ट, यूजर आईडी 7 अगर मैं दूंगा, यूजर आईडी इज मिसिंग। तो इस तरह से ट्रू और फॉल्स टाइप के रिस्पॉन्स आएंगे और उसी के बेसिस पे आप इंफॉर्मेशन गैदर करोगे ब्लाइंड एसक्यूएल इंजेक्शन के केस में। नॉर्मल जो आपको इंफॉर्मेशन दिखती है वो चीज यहाँ पे नहीं देखने को मिलेगी। So now if we try an SQL injection payload here, okay, to understand this a little bit better, let's say 1, instead of or I'm going to use and 1 is equal to 1. Let's see what we get for this. User ID exists, that means our condition is true. Whatever we specified is a true condition, because of course 1 is a valid ID and 1 is equal to 1 is also always a true statement, so the result informs present. So the result tells us that okay, this ID that you're checking, it is present in the database. And if whatever condition you specify that is false, then in that case we'll see something like, let's say try and 1 is equal to 2. If I try this, then user ID is missing because this is a false statement. 1 is equal to 2 will always be false. Now let's try finding out the number of columns. Okay, let's try finding out the number of columns here. So again 1. Now we are moving back to our union select. So union select 1. Now, if there's only one column, this statement should give us a positive answer, because if you remember, the condition for a union clause is that it will have same number of columns on both select statements. So let's see. So it tells us that user ID is missing. So that means this is a negative answer. That means the number of columns is not one. So it may be more than one. Now, when I use union select 1, 2, it tells me that user ID exists in the database. That means this is a positive response, which tells us that there are two columns present. Now, with regards to identifying the version, in this case, we cannot use the same method. So if I type 1 union select 1 and sorry, at the rate version. Now this is not going to give me any data. I know that this query is correct and it's running, but it's not going to give me a result. I'm not actually going to be able to find out what the actual version is, because this is blind SQL injection. It does not give you the results directly. You have to work for it, and that's why, see, when I mentioned that this is more difficult, now you see what I meant by this. So now if you want to figure out the version of the database, we have to you know, we have to do it character by character. Let me tell you what I mean. Substring. Now substring is a function which is used to create, which takes a string and creates smaller strings out of it. So substring and the thing we need to find a substring of is the version. So at the rate version. Now starting position is 1, the first character, and how many characters you want to take out? Just one, is equal to 1. I'm checking whether the first number in the version is 1 or not. इसका विंडोज से कोई लेना देना नहीं है राहुल, ये तो डिपेंड करता है, अगर आपकी वेब एप्लीकेशन वल्नरेबल है तो उस पर काम करेगा, रिगार्डलेस ऑफ आप क्या ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम यूज कर रहे हो। आपका जो सर्वर है MS SQL या Oracle या MySQL जो भी यूज कर रहे हो, अगर उसमें वल्नरेबिलिटी है तो उस पर काम करेगा, इससे आपके ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का कोई लेना देना नहीं है, क्योंकि ये तो वेब एप्लीकेशन डिपेंडेंट है ना, ये ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम डिपेंडेंट नहीं है चीज़। Now in this case what we are trying to do is we are taking the version, the value of this version variable, and we are taking the first character, checking whether that character is 1, checking whether that first character is equal to 1. Submit. Okay, so it says user ID exists in the database. That means the first character is indeed 1. Now, similarly, we will have to do for every character. Version. Now for the second character. Now, whether this is equal to 1 or not. No. So user ID is missing from the database. That means this statement is not true. So the second character of the database version is not 1. As I mentioned, blind SQL injection is much more difficult to execute, and this is why. Now, if you want to find the version number, you will have to do it for every character. Okay, let's try this one again. Search for the other version. 2. Let's say whether sorry, not 12. 2. Whether let's say whether it's 0. Let's see whether it's 0. So it's 0. So version is 10 point something. So this is what I was talking about when I said that blind SQL injection is more difficult and it makes you work more to get the value that you require. Now similarly, if you want to figure out the name of the database, then and substring. Now in this case, we'll use the database function. Is equal to, and now we'll compare it with characters because of course it cannot be numerical in this case. So let's see whether it's A or not. I'm just going to copy this so I can use it. So it's not A. The first character in the database name is not A. Let's try again. Is it B? No. Once more. Is it C? No luck again. What about D? Again, it's telling us missing from the database. Are we sure our statement is correct? Okay, now the statement itself has an issue here. My bad. Now if we try A, not there. D, again not there. Oh, but I copied the wrong one again. So it says user ID exists in the database. That means the first character in the database name is D. Now we know that the name of the database in our case is DBWA. We saw that in the previous SQL injection. So let's try and confirm that. You can try it for all characters. I'm just going to see whether the fourth character is A or not. So again, user ID exists. That is, fourth character is A. So you'll have to check individually for all characters, and this can take a long time. That's why blind SQL injection is much more time consuming than normal SQL injection. So this is your Boolean based blind SQL injection. There is another kind of SQL injection as well when it comes to blind SQL, which is known as time based in SQL injection. So why is it called time based? Because it relies on waiting for a specific period of time before your web application, which is vulnerable to this. Before it responds, you wait for a specific period of time. And this time delay, that is specified by you. Now, in order to check whether our application is vulnerable to this thing or not, what I'm going to do is, again, user ID 1 and sleep or sleep command tells the server to go to sleep or not respond for a while. So if I give this sleep command here, and if this works, then I should be getting a delayed response. So I got a response after a while. Now, of course, user ID is missing from the database. Now, in this case, we are not relying on the output of this. We are just seeing whether our time delay is working or not. So the time delay is working. The application is vulnerable to time-based SQL injection. If I were to specify this 6 and sleep 10, that would not have, that's, no, this shouldn't work because the user ID 6 is not present in the database. 1 is present and sleep 10 also worked. So we got a delayed response with a time delay of 10 seconds. Now that we know that we have a delayed response and we can use time-based SQL injection here, we can use this in our queries and try to figure out more information. So we are going to make use of this property now. And before that, there is another SQL clause I'd like to discuss, which is the like clause or operator, sorry, not clause, like operator. Now, this is used for pattern matching. And in like operator, you use two different wildcards. One is percent. So percent sign represents 0, 1 or multiple characters. So any number of characters you could represent by just adding a percent. And underscore represents a single character. So let's see this in use. So there are some examples. If you say where customer name like a and percentage, that would mean that it would find any values starting with a and any number of characters after that. So the value has to start with a. If it's the percent sign is before, then it means that that value must be ending with a. Similarly, if it has percent or percent, that means there could be any number of characters before and after percent, or sorry, any number of characters before and after or not after percent. So the word, this not the word, the characters or should be somewhere between. They could be at the beginning, they could be at the end, or they could be somewhere in the middle. Now this underscore means that there should be one character before R and any number of characters after that. So R should be in the second position. This case means that any values starting with A that are at least 2 characters in length. Similarly, you have your other uses for like. So this is something that we are going to use over here. Now let's consider again our case that we are trying to figure out the database version. So now using one, and if at the rate version like, and let's say we've already known that it starts with 10, so let's just use that knowledge to compare it here, like, and we'll specify 10 percentage because you don't know what comes after 10, 10 point something. So what is that after point? We don't know currently. So if this is the case, we'll tell it to sleep for 5 seconds. Okay, I need to add this within this parenthesis. Okay, there's probably some mistake there. Let's see. Okay, I also need to add this. Let me just syntax. Okay, yeah, this is the value in case it's in the case the condition is true, then sleep 5 will happen. In case not, then I'll just specify null because nothing is supposed to happen in that case. Okay, just let's try running this. So now you can see that it responded after 5 seconds. That means that the condition we specified is true. Now what was our statement? Our statement was one, and if the value of this version variable like 10, so whether if it's starting with 10, then sleep for 5 seconds, otherwise don't do anything, otherwise return the value null. This would be clearer if I use the if operator here. There's if. I don't have it. Okay, this is something that's present specifically in particular versions, not just general SQL. So we'll talk about MySQL if function, and this is how the function works. Select if 500 less than 1000. If this is true, then yes will be returned. If this is false, then no will be returned. Similarly, what we're doing in this case, if our condition is true, if the version variable does start with 10, then sleep 5 will execute, otherwise nothing will happen, null. That is what we have submitted. Now instead of sleep 5, if you want to be even surer, you can say sleep 15, which will give you an even longer time delay. So after 15 seconds, we got the reply. That means our statement is true. So this is basically blind SQL injection, where you need to make a lot of different kinds of queries and see what is happening. If you come to Medium, what do we see? So again, we see similarly that in this case, there is no input field and we'll need to go to burp. Same thing for this. High also will work similarly as before. I mean, of course, with the distinction that it is blind SQL and not normal. So now you're talking about seeing this on other websites. So yes, that can be done as well. Okay, there is this website called testphp.worldweb.com. It's not accessible. What's the issue? It's saying that it's inaccessible. Let me try something else. Let me just see whether I can find another website for this. Was this one web is currently down? Maybe there's, I think there's an issue with the website. It's down for more than a week. But I'll see. I'll try to look for, if I find something, then I'll show it to you. Meanwhile, do you have any questions regarding what we have covered today?
No, sir.
No? Okay. So now definitely try this stuff out, and in order to get a better understanding of it. Otherwise, you will very easily forget this. SQL injection is something that you need to practice in DBWA. Only then you will get the hang of it. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can ask. In the next session, I'll begin the next module.
हेलो
Yes.
सर, इस मेथड का यूज ऑनलाइन जो अकाउंट क्रैक करते हैं वो लोग करते हैं ना इसका यूज?
हाँ, वो लोग यूज करते हैं. अच्छा, इसमें एसक्यूएल मैप में, अच्छा एसक्यूएल मैप यूज करके दिखाता हूँ मैं. एसक्यूएल
हाँ,
मैप रह गया अभी. SQL map is a tool used for automated SQL injection attacks. So you don't need to do much here, and the tool will mainly do everything for you. Okay, we haven't specified a URL. Let's just specify the URL for that. -u, and let's just copy this. See what it tells us. So it's asking whether I want to try these in the target URL itself. Let's say no here. Okay, now it's saying that it's getting a redirect to the login page. So what I need to do is I need to specify my cookie. I'll start SQL map again by providing the cookie. Okay, let's just first change it to low, then try this so that we can get it with parameters in the URL itself. First thing I'll copy is this skill map. Now I'll present the cookie. The cookie I can get easily from Burpsuit. So this is the cookie, and if I want to use it, I'll simply copy it. Copy. And in SQL map, provide the parameter double hyphen cookie is equal to, again within double quotes, the value that we have copied. So now we can run our attack. Now it's asking whether you want to skip test payloads for other databases. So yes. So you can see it's going to try a lot of things on itself, and it's going to tell you what it finds. Okay, now I didn't actually specify what I needed. Just specify double hyphen DBs, so it tells us the databases. So two databases were found, DBWA and information schema. So now I can say this DBWA and find out the tables. Okay, yeah, no, sorry, there's another option for that. So for the database that we selected, it's telling us that there are two tables. So So let's see what else we can gather. If I run this query, let's just say double hyphen columns. So it is going to tell us the different columns present in both the tables. So in guest book there are 3 columns. In DVWA there are in DVWA, in users, DVWA is the database, that is the same. In users there are 8 columns, so it's telling us that. And what we can also do now is simply dump so it's saying that it also found possible password hashes in the password column. Do you want to store hashes to a temporary file for eventual processing? Right now I'm giving it no, but you can store this and use tools like John the Ripper to crack those. Not right now. Okay, let's say we do want to crack them. TXT. Let's try. Let's see what it gives us in the default file. Password suffixes no. So it has already cracked one password, so it can also do this functionality. It can do a dictionary based attack for you. So 3 passwords, 4 passwords it has cracked, and 5. Okay. 5 passwords have been cracked now. I don't know why it's still working. Okay, there's just still one left. So it has dumped out the databases for you, the tables for you. So this is the users table. And this is the guest book table. So you can use SQL map. So it's a tool. So it will simply perform all automated SQL injection queries and give you the output. So you don't have to do it manually. And as you can see, it will also help you crack the passwords if it finds password hashes. So any questions?
नो सर. फिर एक बार कल
हाँ बोलो.
कल फिर एक बार मतलब एसक्यूएल मैप बता दीजिए, थोड़ा फास्ट होगा आज.
अच्छा ठीक है चलो.
और यूआरएल दे सकते हैं कल के लेक्चर का आज?
हाँ